Hi everybody. Welcome back to LA. Today we are going to focus on the present perfect tense, one of the 16 tenses, and also the active and passive voice in the present perfect tense. Let's look at all the 16 tenses again. The present simple tense, the present continuous tense, the present perfect tense, the present perfect continuous tense. The past simple tense, the past continuous tense, the past perfect tense, the past perfect continuous tense. The future simple tense, the future continuous tense, the future perfect tense, the future perfect continuous tense. The past future simple tense, the past future continuous tense, the past future perfect tense, the past future perfect continuous tense. In today's lesson, we're going to focus on the present perfect tense. Active voice, have, or has taught. Passive voice, have, or has been taught. The active present perfect tense is formed by using have, or has, for the third person singular, plus verb 3. Active voice, affirmative. First person singular, I have taught them one of my card tricks. First person plural, we have taught them one of our card tricks. Second person singular, or plural, you have taught me one of your card tricks. Third person singular, Jim has taught me one of his card tricks. Third person plural, they have taught me one of their card tricks. Note that when you is used to refer to the person that you are speaking or writing to, it is singular, but when you is used to refer to the people that you are speaking or writing to, it is plural. The negative of the present perfect tense is formed by putting not after have or has. For example, I have told him becomes I have not told him, or I haven't told him, or I've not told him. I haven't is preferred to I've not, and he hasn't is preferred to he's not. The interrogative of the present perfect tense is formed by putting the verb have or has in front of the subject. For example, you have told him becomes have you told him. The present perfect tense. Active voice. Affirmative, I have told you about it. Negative, I have not told you about it. Interrogative, have I told you about it? We have seen him before. We haven't seen him before. Have we seen him before? You have told him. You have not told him. Have you told him? They have moved to Jakarta. They haven't moved to Jakarta. Have they moved to Jakarta? Tom and Ava have had lunch. Tom and Ava haven't had lunch. Have Tom and Ava had lunch? He has bought a car. He hasn't bought a car. Has he bought a car? Ava has gone to Paris. Ava hasn't gone to Paris. Has Ava gone to Paris? It has stopped raining. It hasn't stopped raining. Has it stopped raining? The present perfect tense is used. 1. To talk about an action that happened in the past, but the specific time in the past, or the exact time when it happened, is not stated or mentioned. When we use the present perfect, there is a connection with the present, or the past action has a result now. For example, I've forgotten his name. I can't remember it now. We have sold our old car. We don't have it now. He hasn't had breakfast. He is hungry now. John has broken his leg. He can't play tennis with us today. Has she done her homework? She's made a cake for you. Note that, if you want to say exactly when it happened, you must use the past simple tense. Compare. The present perfect tense, I've seen this movie. The past simple tense, I saw it last night. Jim has gone to Singapore, he went there 2 days ago. I've told him about it. I told him about it yesterday. Two. To talk about something that began in the past and continues up to the present. How long have you lived here? We've lived here for 10 years. She's worked at the local hospital for 3 years. It hasn't rained for about 2 months. We've known each other for nearly 5 years. My uncle has lived in Australia all his life. John has not smoked since he got married. He hasn't smoked since 2017. I haven't played basketball since I left university. We have had this car for almost 10 years. 4. Is used to say how long something lasts or continues, or to show an amount of time. Since means from a particular time in the past until the present. 4. Plus a period of time. For 20 minutes, for 3 hours, for 2 days. For 3 weeks, for 6 months, for 5 years. For ages, for a long time, for a few days, etc. Since, plus a specific point in the past. Since 5 o'clock, since Sunday, since February 7th. Since World War I, since Christmas, since he left school. Since 3 days ago, since 2 years ago, since 2006, etc. 3. To talk about life experience or past repeated actions. For example, have you ever eaten sushi? No, I've never eaten sushi. Yes, I've eaten sushi once. Don't say I've ever eaten sushi. Have you ever learned how to swim? Yes, I have. I learned how to swim a long time ago. My father has never smoked. She's never driven a car before. She's never had a car. How many times have you visited New York? I've visited New York twice. I love that movie. I've seen it 5 times. How many times have I told you not to go there? I've checked the temperature 2 or 3 times. Note that, ever cannot be used in a positive sentence. Four. With the following words. Just, recently, lately, already, yet, so far. With just to talk about something that happened a short time ago. For example, we have just bought a new rug for the living room. They've just come back from China. She has just told me that she's getting married. He's just arrived. It's just stopped raining. I've just had dinner. With recently, or lately, to talk about something that happened not long ago. For example, have you seen any good movies recently? The president has recently returned from a 5-day tour of South America. She has recently suffered a bereavement. Have you heard from Jim recently? Have you seen either of them lately? Once or twice lately, Helen's mentioned him. She's developed some very strange habits lately. Lately I've had trouble sleeping. With already, to talk about something that happened before now or sooner than expected. For example, put your wallet away. I've already paid for everything. I have already told him. The show has already started. Have you eaten all that food already? She's already sold her car. With yet, to talk about whether something expected has happened. Yet, means, until now, and is used only in questions and negative sentences. For example, have you done your homework yet? No, I haven't done it yet. Or you can just say, not yet. We haven't discussed the matter in detail yet. Has he arrived yet? I haven't seen him yet. She hasn't finished yet. I haven't decided yet whether to buy another car. Has it stopped raining yet? With so far, or thus far, to talk about the condition of something, or what has happened up until now. Thus far is used in formal situations. For example, so far we have made $30,000. So far we have not had to borrow any money. So far she hasn't called. I think you've done a great job so far. There haven't been any problems so far. Everything is going well. We haven't had any problems so far. There have been 17 deaths from this latest virus so far. I have only met half of the staff so far. We have raised $15,000 so far, and we expect to reach our goal by the end of next week. James thus far has been able to keep all his promises to the voters. Thus far, the two prime ministers have achieved no concrete results. Thus far, the army has proved ineffective in protecting the civilian population. Five. After a superlative, or the first time, the second time, the third time, etc. It's the best movie I have ever seen. The present perfect is used with ever, after a superlative. It's the most boring movie I've ever seen. It's the most interesting book I've ever read. That's the most beautiful song I've ever heard. She's the prettiest girl I've ever met. This is the biggest fish I have ever caught. It's the first time I've ever done this. After the first time, the word, ever, is used only for emphasis, so it can be omitted. Is this the first time you've driven a car? It's the second time he has lost a cell phone. Helen is phoning her boyfriend again. That's the third time she's phoned him this evening. Six. With this morning, this afternoon, this evening, today, this week, this month, this semester, etc. The present perfect can be used with these expressions, only when these periods are not finished at the time of speaking. For example, I have seen him this morning. You can say so, if the morning hasn't finished yet, the morning is not over at the time of speaking. But, let's say that it is 2 p.m., it's not morning anymore, this morning is over, it's now the afternoon, you must use the past simple tense instead of the present perfect tense, and say, I saw him this morning. I've had 2 cups of tea this morning. Have you had a vacation this year? I haven't seen Jim today. I haven't talked to her this evening. Mike is calling his girlfriend again. That's the third time he's called her this evening. I haven't seen her this month. She's drunk 3 cups of coffee today. They've already moved house twice this year. We visited our parents several times this month. The past participle of be, must be used to form the present perfect tense, when there isn't any other verb. Let's take a look at the sentences below. The verb be is not used in the sentences on the left, because each of them already has a verb, but the verb be is used in the sentences on the right, because none of them has any other verb. The present perfect tense. Let's look at the sentences on the left. I've known your father since 1999. Known, is a verb, and therefore the verb be is not used. She's lived in London for 3 years. I've worked here for 6 months. I've met a lot of people in the last few days. She's had a cold for a week. They have visited Paris 3 times. Has he told you about it? It's the most boring movie I've ever seen. Now let's take a look at those on the right. I've been hungry for hours. Hungry, is not a verb. It's an adjective, and therefore the verb be must be used. He has been there for 5 days. The factory has been here for over 15 years. I've been rather busy lately. Lily's been sick since Wednesday. Jim has never been to California. I've been in high spirits lately. Is this the first time you've been in the hospital? The difference between gone to and been to. She has gone to China means she is there now, or on her way there. He's gone to the store. She has been to China means now she has come back. He's been to the store. The active and passive voice in the present perfect tense. Active sentence. The subject, or the doer of the action, I have, or has, plus verb 3, have washed. The object, or the recipient of the action, my car. I have washed my car. The subject, or the doer of the action, he have, or has, plus verb 3, has washed. The object, or the recipient of the action, his car. He has washed his car. Only transitive verbs can be used in the passive voice. The passive voice in the present perfect tense is formed by have, or has, plus been, plus past participle. Passive sentence. The subject, or the recipient of the action, his car. Have, or has, plus been, plus verb 3, or the past participle, has been washed. By, plus the agent, or the doer of the action, by him. His car has been washed by him. When used to form the present perfect tense, have, or has, is an auxiliary verb. Now let's look at the past participle of the regular verbs. Verb 1, the base form, or the infinitive. Ignore. Verb 2, or the past tense. Ignored. Verb 3, or the past participle. Ignored. Move, moved, moved. Promote, promoted. Promoted. Work, worked, worked. Next, let's take a look at the past participle of the irregular verbs. Verb 1, the base form, or the infinitive. Buy. Verb 2, or the past tense. Bought. Verb 3, or the past participle. Bought. Drink, drank, drunk. Eat, ate, eaten. Have, had, had. In the active voice, the subject, or doer, is the person or thing that has performed the action of the verb, and the object, or recipient is the person or thing that has received the action. For example, active voice. Subject, or doer of the action, plus have, or has, plus past participle, or verb 3, plus object, or recipient of the action. John has cleaned the window. In the passive voice, the object, or the recipient of the action in the active sentence, becomes the subject in the passive sentence, and therefore, the subject is no longer the doer of the action of the verb, but is now the recipient of the action. For example, passive voice. Subject, or recipient of the action, plus have, or has, plus been, plus past participle, plus by, plus agent, or doer of the action. The window has been cleaned by John. The active voice is generally preferred to the passive voice. For example, she's bought a new cell phone. She has cleaned the windows. Has your father drunk any coffee this morning? No, he hasn't. He's just drunk some tea. I left school in 1995, and since then I've lived in London. Ever since his wife left him, he's had a drink problem. The passive voice is used especially when we want to emphasize the object, or the recipient of the action, or when the doer of the action is unknown, unimportant, obvious, etc. Therefore, the doer of the action or agent is often omitted in the passive sentence. For example, he has recently been promoted to assistant manager. The road has just been repaired. The hotel has been renovated. My bike has been stolen. Many problems have been ignored for too long. If we want to show the agent, we use by plus agent. For example, my room has been painted by my younger brothers. My car has been washed by Tom. Now, do this exercise. Directions: for each question, there are 4 choices, and only one of them is correct. Write down the correct answers on a piece of paper. You have 2 minutes to complete this exercise. Check your answers. Question 1. B. Has he paid the rent yet? Question 2. A. Hasn't paid. No, he hasn't paid the rent yet. Question 3. B. Already. Yes, he has paid the rent already. Question 4. C. Has been. He has been to the dentist and now he's in his bedroom. Question 5. D. Have already been built. The design of the new house is similar to those that have already been built. Question 6. C. Told. Has he told you about it? Question 7. A. Did you send? Well, it's 9 p.m. now. By the way, did you send the package this morning? Question 8. C. Talk to. I talked to him about it last night. Question 9. A. Has been cut. The grass has been cut. Question 10. D. Flown. Yes, I've flown such a plane once. Well, that's the end of this lesson. Thanks for watching. If you like this video lesson, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to our channel.